Hey, divers. Hey, skydivers.
Hey, skeep divers.
Skeep diving. Hey, divers.
Oh, it's Gordy. Hey, divers. Thanks for coming to check out our episodes, our shows. Like and subscribe at the button below. Do it again. Like and subscribe. No, you going like this. Look, man.
Deep Skydiving Podcast at gmail.com.
Look, man, y'all know where to find us.
Skeep Divers.
It's Deep Skydiving Podcast at TikTok, IG. But really, man, we just need y'all to like and subscribe and share these things, man. Share these episodes. If you got something from it, if you liked it, if you just want somebody to hear it, share it.
Share.
But like and subscribe, definitely. We don't ask you for nothing. We just ask you to subscribe. Tell the people you love them.
I love the people. Peace.
Enjoy the episode.
Let's go before the Father.
Yeah. King of Kings.
Lord of Lords.
You know what it is that I don't even know why I say come before you, man. We always before you.
Yes.
Even when we ain't talking to you, we still before you, man. You're everywhere.
Yes, Lord.
You hear all our conversations. You see all our deeds. And with that being said, I just ask that you forgive us and those who are listening. Forgive us for each and every time we missed your mark. Every time we may have done things we shouldn't have done or didn't do the things that we should have done, Father. Your word says to know the good to do and to not do it is sin. So forgive us for not doing all the good that we know to do, Father. Let us always have a heart for people, like a heart for good, a heart for righteousness. And convict us whenever sin tries to creep in, when that temptation comes in, Father. Give us the strength to not give in to those temptations, even whether it's relationships, whether it's temptations in our anger, temptations in lust, whatever, man. Just don't give us the strength. Let us have the wherewithal to even know that what I'm dealing with right now is temptation. Or to just see ourselves, to assess ourselves and know that I'm in a compromising position right now and this is not where I need to be. But you give us that wisdom and that knowledge and that understanding, Father. Guide us with your spirit. Even guide us at this time during this podcast. Ask that it'll be the best one yet. Even if we just come off the dome, you just lead us with your spirit, Father. You be with the topic. Let our mouths speak with clarity. Let whatever it is that you want to be spoken, Father. And forgive us if we say things that may have brought any kind of dishonor, any things that are controversial, that are unnecessary, anything ineffective. Forgive us for those things. Do away with it. Let it not stick. Let it go in one ear, come right out the other. But the things that are effective, the things that build up, the things that are pure and holy, let those things take seed in people's hearts and people's minds, Father, and let them just build off of that. But you have your way. I thank you. I love you. And it's showtime, God. Show up, show out. In Yahushua's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to Deep Skydiving. Deep. But here we are, Deep skydiving. Yeah. Deep skydiving, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
The podcast. Welcome to another episode of Deep Skydiving.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
One day we're gonna get AJ to do that part.
I ain't singing that.
Why come? I like it.
Why come?
Yeah, why come?
Cause I ain't singing that. That's your part. That ain't my part. That's your part. So
it's fine.
All right.
Everybody can't be a deep skydiver. The last episode that we did was on. What was it on?
It don't even matter. If you don't remember, I don't remember. Well, I don't remember it. Even if you do remember, I still don't remember. So.
And it's fine because we have it here. Is it okay to be jealous?
Oh yeah, jealous. That jealous. You got anything for that?
To add? No, not really. I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah.
I did. It made me think. Yeah. Because it almost, like, I feel like jealousy is always used as such a negative connotation that it's like people almost feel bad about having that emotion. And it's like, you don't have to feel bad about having emotion, but when you do dumb stuff because of having the emotion, that's when you should feel bad.
I'm good with it.
With being jealous.
Yeah, like I said, if it's mine, like if it's my woman and somebody's getting entertained by it, I'm fine with being jealous by it. I feel like I have the right to be jealous, and I'm gonna act off of it.
Yes, and one thing you said that was very powerful for me, just in review of the episode, was about how you like it's okay for you to feel the emotion, but like in discussion or feeling the emotion behind whatever's happening, but the other person being able to kind of like see that even if that person acts out, there's something that's wrong. Like we have to discuss whatever that thing is, even if they're not able to. Some people aren't able to articulate. Yeah. So okay. So I don't really have anything more for that though. Did you?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
So our next topic is about support. It is, what is the definition of support for a man/woman? And here we go. My definition of support is when you have on like a good girdle.
Come on, talk to us. From a woman's mind.
No, that is a really good level of support. But what we're talking about here is in relationships. So I will say that, like, in my mind's eye, what support is when you have somebody who is available to give you a safe space, who provides you with encouragement, who provides you with time, energy, etc., in order for you to achieve the things that are, or take part in whatever it is that God has blessed you or given you, the task that God has given you, I should say.
It's good.
I just want it to be a godly thing, but I know that that's not the case either. So support can be when it's ungodly too. You can kind of support somebody in ungodly things too.
You can, and it's bad.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your definition?
Huh?
I said, what's your definition?
Man, when I think of support, so excuse me, this not vulgar, maybe sharing a little too much, but I know I'm not the only person that deals with this. So I have, it's not even a condition or whatever, it's just something that happens to some people, to some men. A lot of men probably never experience it. So there's a feeling like when you get kicked in the gonads, it hurts real bad, right? And so I have something where the doctor told me I can't wear boxers. Like I can't wear loose boxers. I have to wear like boxer briefs or briefs. And I'm not wearing no tighty whities.
Right.
So
because those are not.
I just don't like them. They're
gross.
Never mind. So I wear boxer briefs. But what happens is your testicles, like, they're connected to like a tube, and that tube can get twisted. And so they was telling me, you too loose down there, buddy. And so it'll get twisted up. When it gets twisted up, that's what's causing that pain. So it's nothing you could do, and it feels like you got kicked in the gonads. I feel like I got kicked in the balls. There's nothing you could do to relieve that pain. You just have to like squat or chill out until it just unravels itself. Right. And so he told me, you have to wear boxer briefs or briefs so that you have that support, so they're not just hanging around loose causing you pain. So definition for support for me, because we talk about relationships, man and woman, definition of support for me is you being in place so that my balls don't hurt.
And we'll take it. I mean, in a way, I can kind of get that though.
Yeah. I think it's a great analogy.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
I do. Unfortunately,
we're gonna work off of that going forward.
Okay.
Every man wants a woman that doesn't, get on his nerves, that doesn't freaking wreck the train.
Yes.
Irritate us. And so, because you could wear boxers. I could wear boxers. Like I got some undergarments on, but they don't serve a purpose because it's not giving any kind of support.
Right.
So it's like you're being there, but you're ineffective and
it's loose.
Yeah.
And you can get tangled.
Right.
And why would you want that?
I don't want it.
Right.
But see, you're there, not you,
but a woman.
Whoever that support is there, to keep you contained, keep you sturdy, solid, so you can be
Keep you in
strong
place.
throughout the whole day. Yeah. And you know what's strange is you're not thinking about it while you're going on about doing what it is that you're doing. I think I'm still talking about support. I'm using my situation, but I'm really talking about people.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't really realize this thing has been supporting you all this time. And you don't realize how much it supported you until you don't have it anymore. So,
That's real.
or until you, because you know you could get comfortable. Because you haven't had this situation. You know they didn't get twisted up for so long, and then you try to go out there. You know, what's it called when you don't wear no drawers?
Commando.
You go out there, try to go commando, or try to throw on some slick boxes because you ain't had this problem all this time, and then next thing you know, you like and then you realize, dang, I need to go back to my support.
Yeah.
And so
I'm all twisted up.
yeah, I'm hurting.
So our definition from the dictionary is from a dictionary. Well, it really is the dictionary too. Is there are a few things. First of all, it's a verb. But it's to bear or hold up, which is very similar to your definition. To sustain or withstand, which is great. To undergo or endure, especially with patience or submission. Tolerate.
I feel like you should write this down because
I think so too, because they're so good. It says to maintain by supplying with things necessary to existence. Let me read that again. To maintain by supplying with things necessary to existence. To advocate, to corroborate, to act with or second, assist in performance.
all right, so go back up. I'm gonna need you to go back up to like that second one.
I sure will. No, I'm gonna start at the first because I feel like they're all really good. To bear or
hold up, because I ain't even got the pen in my hand. Come on, man, give me the right support now.
I thought you was writing.
Give me the right support now.
To bear or hold up.
All right, bear or hold up.
To sustain or withstand.
Sustain. Withstand.
Undergo or endure. To sustain under trial or affliction.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. To sustain under affliction. That's all I really need.
Okay. I need to maintain by supplying with things necessary to existence.
I like that one too. I feel like that fit. Never mind.
Okay. So what are your thoughts?
We gonna build on that. What was the question again?
What is support?
No.
What is the definition of support for a man or woman?
All right, well let's go. So we got that definition. What that says: to bear, hold up, sustain, withstand, undergo, and endure, or to sustain under affliction. I think that one right there. I'm glad. Well, your last one was what did that say?
To maintain by supplying with things necessary to existence. Provide for.
Can you move that one up? I want to end with this one. To sustain under affliction.
Why?
Because I feel like that's the one that not will have the most controversy, but I think this is AJ speaking. I think we might not recognize how we're not sustaining under affliction. How we can be the affliction. Therefore, we're not being the thing that is sustaining under it.
Right.
Like you can't sustain me under affliction when you're my affliction.
When I'm your affliction, yeah.
And we talking about making it work. And we're talking about what does support look like between man and woman in a relationship. I feel like we should end with that one because I think that's probably the one that plagues our relationships the most.
Okay.
I think that's more like a scenario based one. So yeah.
So let's start with the basics. So I feel like the basics to sustain or uphold, right? Or withstand, excuse me, sustain or withstand.
That makes me think of because it's a noun also. I'm pretty sure if you scroll down, you'll see it as
It's a noun.
Yeah,
The nouns just say the act or instance of supporting, the state of
Right.
being supported, something that serves as a foundation.
yeah. Why not
prop,
use
brace,
the
or
word in
stay.
the definition?
Right.
Yeah,
Maintenance as of a person or family with necessary means or funds. A person or thing that supports as financially. A person or thing that gives
all right,
aid
we
or
good.
assistance.
We
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just saying the same thing in different ways.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so when I think of because really when I think of support, I do think of I don't know why my brain thinks like that, but it thinks of the noun version of it, not not the verb, like the object. Like that's why I went straight to boxer briefs.
Right.
The boxer briefs perform the verb of sustaining, but I mean support. But when I initially thought of, I always think of like an object or something. So I think of like a pillar in a building. Like
And I think of the
support to
verb.
yeah. Why
That's
you think of that?
interesting. Because I think of the way in which I like try to deal with my life or maneuver in life is I always say, well, what is it that I would need in this situation or in this instance? And to me, I feel like support looks like something, and it's really more action than it is an object. But that's cool that we're coming from two different places, because I feel like it's going to influence the way
It's
which
action. My brain, the way I think, I'm always going to think object first because that's what helps me understand the function. So when I think of support, I think of the legs on the table or something. They're holding up the table. That's the verb of it, but the legs are the support. And so when I got a real, my mind operates off of analogies and everything. That's why I think noun first. So I'm thinking of legs holding the table up, support. You could put pressure on this thing, table won't cave because the legs are doing what they do. The legs lock in place. The legs, you don't even see them. Like the legs are doing their job out of sight. You don't even see them. But for some reason, these things look like they're floating on camera.
right.
This table, this looks like it's floating. You can't even see it, but it does have a support. And that's how I would think. So when I would think of myself about, hey, I need you to support me in this, I think of the object. I'm like, all right, they don't need me to be in front of the camera doing what they need me to be able to hold them up, help if they need an idea, help keeping it going, help they need to know how much time we got left. They need to do. I'm thinking of an object and I'm making that comparison. That's why that's what my mind does, because I don't know. That's just how my mind operates.
Is it safe to assume that some of the best support is unseen?
Yeah, unnoticed, because the support isn't the main. It isn't the
It's not
main
the main
thing.
character.
It's not
It's
the
the
star
support.
of the show.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you got supporting actors. They get paid less.
That's in
they
the
got less
definition.
roles. Yeah.
Yeah, like but
Yeah.
they're
It was?
essential nonetheless.
Yeah.
Essential nonetheless, but just doesn't, like, you're not the main. You're not the main ingredient.
Well, let's hit that right there. Let's start right there then.
Okay.
You're not the main ingredient, and we're talking about relationships. So who is the main ingredient?
In reality, the main ingredient should be God, but that's not always the case.
We don't need to support God though.
No, but I feel like that's the main ingredient. Like if we both made God the main ingredient, right? Then it wouldn't be I'm just looking at you and I'm going to make sure that you achieve your dreams, right? I'm going to be the supporting cast member to you. It would be like, we got to support each other.
Right. So that's what I was getting at.
Oh, okay.
So
did I go too fast?
No, it was just like a trick question.
Oh, okay.
So when I say so who's the main character? We can't say, the man is the main character or the woman is the main character. It's you supposed to be each other's main. You're not supposed to be your own main character, but you're supposed to be each other's main character. I think we used to say that where you try to outgive each other. Like we try to out love each other. I want to love you more than you love me. At least that's how I want to see it. And once I felt like you done upped me on love, I gotta up my love.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. So I was when I was telling you about the Ellises, I in reading their book, one thing that Kadeen was saying was that she wakes
Shout
up
out to the
now.
book. You might
Yeah,
as well
shout
tell
out to
them the
them.
name of it. Give them
We
some free
over me.
advertisement.
We over me.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Ellises. But in the book, Kadeem was saying that like when she wakes up in the morning, now she's thinking about how she can make her husband's life better.
Yeah.
Like it's not about like what the kids need, you know, da 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 da. Like it's not about what I have to do. It's like how can I make my husband's life better? Because she knows that at the end of the day, making his life better is also making her life better.
Yeah.
And not that she's doing it for that reason, but just because like he's such a support in her life that it's like me, like you said, this table is sitting on these beams. It's just like me wrapping something else around those legs or putting cement around them. Now it's a sturdier foundation instead of it being something like I'm just steady jumping on this joint. So it's making those legs weaker. Which is what happens when we nag and when we make life harder and things like that. We are when we do things.
Oh, you trying to go straight to here, huh? But go ahead.
No, not really. Not really. I'm just saying.
I mean, if it's going to take us there, it's going to take us there.
No, but it makes sense of what she was saying. Like, you know, I think that's literally what it's about. So then DeVal was saying that life is really about servitude, like life is about service. So if life is about serving, which is also something that Pastor Juan said about like love, that love does. Love does. Like it's action, it's about giving. Then it makes sense that, you know, it's all about how you can outgive the other person or support, you know, the other person.
And so I feel like there's different, there's definitely different type of supports according to the, you know, relationships. No, relationships are like fingerprints, though. None are the same. They might look similar, might have their similarities. None are the same, though. And so you really have to, how you support your partner really depends on your partner. And
how that person receives support.
Right. And sometimes, as you were just talking about the table, you said how the beams hold the table up. It made me think of this. The legs, like, didn't open themselves.
Right.
So sometimes you have to enable me to be able to support you. So you, especially if it's essential for whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So, for instance, and I've had relationships where the girl told me, I don't know how to help you. You won't let me help you. And I don't want to tell you how to help me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Just get in there.
Yeah, just.
I've heard it. I've heard it before, time and time again.
Just do. I'm gonna appreciate regardless. Just do.
Yeah.
But and then there's things that areas that I really do need the support in. But because I'm so used to just doing whatever on my own, like if it got to get done, it got to get done. I know I'm probably not the best man for the job all the time, but it's going to get done. And it's going to be satisfactory. It might not be the best, but it's going to be satisfactory. I'm just used to doing it myself. Right. And so I would never, it's harder for me to ask for the support. I'm really not giving you what you need to be that support to me. And so the things that you're doing really, I mean, it's a form of support, but it's really not significant. Like it's yeah, you did this, thank you, but it's not really what's holding this table up. It's not really what's keeping this thing sustained, what's keeping this thing going. And I got to take the blame for that because she vocalized it, like she verbalized it. Tell me how I can help you. Tell me how I can support you. And I didn't give her what she needed, you know, to be able to open the legs on the table and to hold that thing up. So we got a little bit of onus.
Oh yeah.
In that also.
Yeah, I think so. I think in relationship, another big thing is just being able to take that level of accountability where as you never see anything as a one-sided thing. Like nothing is a one-sided thing when you're in a relationship. Everything, like it's like a highway, and we talked about that in our transactional relationship podcast. It's like there's gonna be some give and take. There's pluses and minuses, right?
Yeah.
I'll always say beware of that person who tells you the story and they're always a victim. Every story that they tell you is like, they did this to me.
They did wrong.
This. Right. And it's like, what did you do? And the reason why you ask people what did they do is because one, it's that accountability, one. And then 2, to be able to open them up to see that that person is just as human as you are.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be able to see how you messed up so that then you can start to forgive or, move forward in your relationship or whatever the case might be.
Sometimes we got to show them that you're just as human as that person is.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at what they did, their mistakes or whatever, or even if it's not a mistake, but you're looking at the bad and what they did, but not recognizing the bad
and what you did. Yes, yeah. which is what might be worse. Yeah. But it's also what is common amongst people when it comes down to people being in a relationship with their feelings. It's a matter of me separating you from me. Like, I'm in my mind, because you've hurt me, I'm making you small. I'm like trying to make you so small that it's almost like I don't even have to respect you because you did something so mean or so dumb or whatever, because I'm hurt. Yeah. Right. So as long as I can separate myself from you, not seeing the humanity in all of it, right? Yeah. Then I can hate you, or I can dislike you strongly, or I can talk about you like a dog in front of your mother or in front of your children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I know I'm disliked by a few.
Who is that? I literally don't know a person who isn't disliked by somebody. No. And here's the thing.
It's not hurting my feelings.
It shouldn't. It's not your business.
Yeah. Some of it is.
Is it?
Most definitely.
I don't. So
I definitely did some things worthy of disliking me.
Right, but it's really okay. So in those cases, you still feel like it's your business that the person dislikes you?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me why. Elaborate.
Because I know I wronged them. Mm-hmm. And so in my heart, I should do what is necessary to attempt. I'm not saying I have what it takes to make it right for them, but you should do something to show some kind of remorse or to show something that you want to indemnify this thing. Like, I want to make right what I did wrong. And if I can make it right, at least I want to let you know that I recognize the wrong in my actions or my words.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I should do better about that.
Yeah, the word says if your brother has aught against you, not if you have aught against your brother. It says before you bring your gift to God, it says if your brother has an issue with you, you go see him.
Yes, I do know that. So, I do know that to be Bible. I think it
don't say sister though, so y'all might be good.
You stupid. I know what that means. But no, I think my biggest thing is always because of the fact that I realize that, I guess when yours is like you accepting accountability, and that's what, that's Bible, right? I think what I'm talking about may be something a little different, but you could obviously just check me on it. I'm talking about like when there are people who just don't like you.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, like it doesn't, like you could say the right things and you could say the wrong things, it's just that they just don't care for you. Yeah. And I just feel like those just really aren't your business. Like when I say it's not my business, I mean like I can't be worried about how many people, or the things that they've made up in their minds about me. Yeah,
I'm not. So because that's, now you're talking about opinions. So that's just something. You just have an opinion about me based off of whatever you seen or heard. Like, you don't even know me for real. Nah, I'm not talking about that. I don't care about that. I'm talking about because
like
we was talking about being hurt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you was talking about they don't like me because they're hurt by something. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. So what if it's one of those situations where you didn't mean to hurt that person?
Doesn't matter.
Right, they're hurt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted you to say that so people can realize that like that matters.
Yeah.
That the person is hurt.
Now, I'm not saying, because people will manipulate and try to use that against you. Mm-hmm. Continue to be, yeah, man, this hurt, so they could get desired response out of you, or try to get you to change into the way they want you to change. But some of that, you just, man, it's not. I had this one girl tell me, I feel like you invalidating my feelings. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because I guess she felt like I was being aggressive towards her or something. I'm like, what? I said, nah. I said, I assure you I'm not being aggressive. Mm-hmm. And you invalidating my feelings. I was like, how am I invalidating your feelings? I never said like your feelings are wrong or anything. I said, what I'm trying to do is give you assurance that I'm not being aggressive. Mm-hmm. I'm not being condescending. I think you're just misunderstanding what I'm saying. Mm. Yeah, but you're trying to make it seem like my feelings aren't valid. Like, so do you want me to say that I'm being aggressive? Mm-hmm. Because I can do it. That way your feelings really will be validated.
Oh, she probably.
Like I can show you what aggressive is. I can show you what condescending is. But I'm telling you that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I guess
Yeah.
the way I'm hearing what I heard you say was that that you were telling her what you weren't doing, and she was saying it doesn't matter what you weren't doing. I'm telling you, like, this is the way I feel about what I'm receiving from you.
And I see, and so I can't deal with that because if I'm telling you these aren't my intentions and that is not how I'm saying it, what you're telling me is I don't care about how you're saying it. I'm hearing it the way that I want to hear it, and it makes me feel this way, and I'm riding with this. Because essentially what I'm doing is apologizing. I'm trying to tell you that this is not the case, except that I'm genuinely telling you this is not how I'm responding to you. I want you to accept that. But you're telling yourself, no, because I feel like this. That's what you're doing. Yeah. I don't have no argument for that. I'm like, okay, you know what?
Yeah, because there is no argument with that. Yeah.
F it. Let's just let me do this. Let me do the crime to fit the punishment then.
Right. Like, because there's nothing, like, what could you do?
Yeah, let me just go ahead and do the crime then. And now your feelings there really is some justification to them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I be petty like that sometimes.
What, just
a lot
to
of
do
times,
it?
yeah, with men. With women, I just don't be having the time for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not. I don't know. I guess when it comes down to women, when I'm having those type of conversations, I am capable of telling the woman, like, hey, your feelings are valid. That's not what I intended, but I mean, of course, I can't make you feel a way about, whatever.
Right.
If you want to continue this conversation, we can keep going down that road. But if it's going to give, like, you're just going to be mad, then we can stop that here.
I'm not continuing down that road. I want resolve.
No, I want resolve
with everything.
No, I'm saying, like, we can have a conversation if you're gonna, like, harp on you being mad because of something that I didn't intend, then we don't need to have this conversation.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, need not.
Yeah. Are you that person? I feel like I'm not that person. Like, of course I'm gonna feel my feels, right? But I'm also not that type of person where it's like I can't have a conversation because my feelings are in the way.
No.
Sometimes I don't want to talk, but it's not like a matter of like, no, because I'm mad at you. No, it's given like, okay, if you want to talk, then we can have that conversation.
My life is full of adversity and controversy. At this point in time, I'm going to have whatever conversation is needed to be had. Jump out of a plane.
Right.
What else is there? I put my own life in danger just to conquer something that try to pose itself as a fear.
Right.
So what else? Man, the fear is not real. So you might not want to have those conversations. You might not want to do the hard things because of fear of what you think might happen, what you think might be said, whatever somebody's response might be. But you don't really know what it is. You don't really know that what you think is what's going to come to pass. And even if it does come to pass, so what?
Yeah.
Eat it, move forward. It happened now. Now you know that you're strong enough to be able to take something like this.
Yeah.
I understand like hurt is a part of life. Just like joy, happiness, being rich, being broke, all of it's a part of life. These things are going to happen. If I'm going to take the good that God give me, I can't take
roll with other stuff too.
Yeah. I can't take the bad. And who's really to say it's bad?
Yeah, that's the part.
Yeah.
We be adding our own little spin to it.
Yeah.
Really, that we're the ones that call it that.
That's it.
We're the ones, and we're the reason why it stings so badly when it does happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's people who real broke right now who having great lives, like living it up. Do you understand me?
I know.
Don't have a coin.
That's why I just feel like I just need to go broke.
I won't go that far, but I mean,
I just need to go broke and be like them.
I mean, they're having an enjoyable life. Yeah. But how can we apply what we just said to support?
All right, well, here, let's what was we just talking about?
We talking about
it takes us right to that last part. That's sustaining under affliction. And so that's why I wanted to hit that last, because I just feel like that's deep. Like that's the gist of the issues with relationships, because we are a lot of time each other's affliction.
But I think I think all roads kind of like leave there though. Yeah. Because this is the relationship podcast, so it's like,
right, well, yeah, let's go here. Well, we know you can't do one without the other because they're almost like opposites.
Right.
So if you're afflicting the person, you're not supporting them.
No.
Let me think that through. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
Causing misery,
I'm gonna stick with that.
causing.
Yeah, if you're afflicting them, you're not supporting them. All right, so here's the thing, because endure stood out to me also. The word endure and withstand. And so here's the thing, because I've been in relationships, well, situationships. I've been involved with with women. I'll just say that. Been involved with women who have, and most women have trauma. So, but trauma that seriously affected them. And I had one. She went through a death. Somebody that was close to her went through a death, and so that affected her a certain way, and then started responding to me a certain way, and even questioning my integrity while I was doing things and everything. And instead of me withstanding or enduring through that, understanding that she's going through what she's going through, me being that support, I took it offensively, and I got defensive towards it, and it put us more like this than like this. Put us more headbutting than embracing. And I had another one with her trauma allows her to respond to me in ways that I don't respond healthily to, like yelling, throwing stuff, raging, cussing at me and all that. I don't respond well to things like that. But me not understanding why she's responding like this, like understanding her hurt and her pain, I wasn't being a support. I was taking it offensively, and I was being defensive towards it. And instead of me trying to support her, just enduring through it and being forgiving and being graceful, I got defensive and I went into protection mode for myself. And so that's a thing
Which happens a lot.
Yeah. Like,
not for you. I mean, say I'm
period.
Like
Relationships.
people,
period. Yeah. Like you shouldn't have to protect yourself. Yeah. You shouldn't have to protect yourself from your partner, because y'all both should be, like we said earlier, competing to love each other, competing to support each other. When we get into these arguments, man, let's ask. Well, look, I think that's a dope question to ask too. Y'all get into an argument like, look here, how could I support you? How could I support you in this?
I've had that happen.
In the midst of an argument, that's dope.
Yeah. On both ends, like, how can I, like just recently I've had, arguments, and it's just like, well, what can I do right now to support you? And it's like, I'm angry though. Like, don't ask me that. Get out of my face. But no, like, I don't.
I feel like I feel like men will have an answer for what the women won't. Because we want it to be over. Y'all be like, no. Like, all right, well, what can I do to support you so that this don't be the situation? No. This is how I feel. Let me feel it. Let me freaking feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so you don't want my support? No. Because y'all respond to emotions quick. And I'm like, you remember you said that.
Yeah, but y'all know we respond in our emotions, so
gotta hold you accountable.
I'm just trying to figure out what the problem is.
Gotta hold you accountable.
It's not that we're not gonna respond in our emotions. That's what we are.
Yeah, because you're gonna come back later with your daggone applesauce jar.
Okay, I'm ready to be.
Can you open this?
Ready to be supported now. I'm
no.
over it.
No.
Let's watch some YouTube.
Now I gotta open the applesauce jar angry.
Yep. Yep. And just open it. And get over yourself. No, but no, I mean, I get it. I feel like that is a very good, like what you just posed is a very good question that I think that we all should consider when in arguments. Like, if you feel like it's not going anywhere, that could be something that you ask the other person. Like, instead of trying to get your point, like try to reach the peace of the whole entire situation. Yeah. And the peace could be like, okay, how can I support you right now? Or what is it that you're saying that I'm missing? And then oftentimes I know it's not easy in the middle. I mean, especially when you feel personally attacked. But I feel like the issue with you feeling personally attacked, right, is that once you feel that way, once you're in defense mode, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, then why are you arguing? Because there really isn't, like, I feel like when you're in arguments, the whole point of that is for you guys to be in a debate where you get your point across and the other person is able to get their point across. But what happens is if you're in defense mode, then it's almost like they're just sending, things to a wall and then you're doing the same thing. So nobody is really receiving any information.
There's no winner.
Right. And that's the reason why a lot of people be like, I don't argue.
Yeah.
So arguments for me don't have to go that way. First of all, I'm not going to yell at you. Second of all, I'm not attacking you as a person when we're talking about something else.
Yeah.
This takes time, though. This is not something that I've always been good at. It may not be something I'll be good at tomorrow, but the point is, I know that these are fundamental things. If we're talking about why you didn't take the trash out, I'm not going to be like, that's why your head big as hell. I'm not going to be like, this is why I don't like your mother. I'm not going to be like, I'm so sick of you just being a dirty ass man. Like, I'm not going to be doing that because I realize that it's not about, then it's not about the trash anymore. You know what I mean? Now,
I'm so sick of you just be.
Now I'm attacking you as a person. And I don't think anybody should have to sit through that. I don't think anybody should have to debate anybody who's, attacking them as a person. I don't feel like that's even an argument. Right. And so I understand why people say that, but I don't think that that's realistic to say, I don't argue.
I don't argue. I'm done with it.
Okay.
We're going to have a discussion. By your definition of it, yeah.
Right.
We're going to have a discussion. You're going to say your side, I'm going to say my side.
But I'm not calling it an argument because arguments have a negative connotation.
Yeah. Arguments have tones.
Arguments do have tones.
But if you look up the definition of argument, I bet debate is in there somewhere.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah, I know.
We turn it into something like nasty. It gets downright filthy.
It does get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say most people. I was gonna say many. I'm gonna say most people don't know how to argue.
Agreed.
And it pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
So much.
But how is it possible that I can have a real argument with you if my feelings mean more than everything else in life? If I idolize my feelings.
I don't even care that you get in your feelings, right?
But they're important to me, and they're important. They're more important than you, even.
That's fine.
Or peace, or God.
I get that because I already know that about people. I get
right.
That.
So that's what I'm saying. That I don't even be shocked by it. It doesn't irritate me.
Get in your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, lets me know that you're human. Cool.
Right.
And I'm not cold blooded to where I'm be like, man, F your feelings, and then I keep going. Like
right.
You gotta really provoke me.
Mm-hmm.
Like really provoke me for me to do that. Like at this point, I don't want you to like me.
Right.
I want you to come at me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. This is what pissed me off. This is why I get pissed off when I say most people don't know how to argue, just because of what you just said. There was a couple days ago, there's this Christian group on Facebook that I'm not a part of, but for some reason they show you posts from like different groups or whatever. I don't know what it is. And somebody had made the status. They posed a question like, "What are some temptations that we deal with as Christians and everything in 2023?" And so I put, greatest temptation for me is fighting the belief that most women are like the women we see on social media. Right, because it's just all ignorance. And I say that because I started to make a post the other day, and I was just going to screenshot all the comments, all the replies to what I said, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't go at people on social media. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to demean you. I don't talk in a condescending tone. I just be speaking facts. Mm-hmm. That's it. And when people start losing arguments, or when they don't have a rebuttal that they could speak facts and statistics or something, they start attacking you. Mm-hmm. Oh, you a clown, this and that, yep. Corny ass nigga, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I just be like, oh, I'm done with this.
Yep.
I just saying
it time and time again.
End up stop replying. Because I done broke some people down on vape. Once you cross that line, you brought me into the ring with you. You know, you done stepped into the ring. Like I could get in, yeah. So you don't want to get into the ring with me online. I got too much time to think about what I'm going to type. I could delete. I could go back, and I'm gonna crush you. I'm gonna punish you.
But I think that's their whole premise too.
They don't though, because they stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't stupid.
No, I get what you're saying.
But
I do.
Yeah, they don't have the capacity to go.
Out.
Yeah. That's exactly why when they feel cornered or feel like they're losing, they go straight to attacking you.
Yeah.
They go straight to calling you names. They go on your page, try to look at your pictures. Yeah, you big forehead, this and that. You got it, like.
I know.
I'm black.
Yeah. Like,
I don't. That's when we was talking about Floyd Mayweather. Now all of a sudden I'm a clown. I'm this. I'm that.
yeah,
Why? Because I pointed out facts.
yeah.
And so I was like, most people just don't know how to. They don't know how to argue. They healthily because we already had that episode.
Yes.
Healthy arguments. Most
Yeah.
people just don't know how to do that, and it's not my job to support you anyway. Like you're not a stranger. I don't have to cater to your emotions.
And sometimes you
Not
have
in
to ask
relationship
yourself
with-
why you're
yeah.
triggered by Floyd Mayweather being talked about in a certain way. Like, I had to ask my goddaughter that, in truth. I had to ask her why she was so triggered by something that had happened to someone else. And why she felt like she needed to like enter
Definitely.
herself into the chat, and it had nothing to do with her. And what she told me is because she could relate to the situation.
Yeah.
She felt like she needed to
People
she needed
be
to protect her.
They be emotionally tied to these people
Yeah.
or situations. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think once that's something that's understood, because I mean, I know, like, it's sometimes I'd be like, why are you so mad, Darah? Like, I literally have to sit with myself, like, why you just blow up like that? And usually it's just because of some personal stuff. And it's like, well, you need to go back to that person and apologize to them about, screaming at them or
Yeah.
yelling at them about, which I don't do. I really don't yell or scream, but just being snarky or nasty to somebody, you know what I mean? Because they said something so simple.
Yeah, I had this dude. I can show you this comment right now. The dude called me a clown yesterday, and I started to reply and just started leaning on him. I said, man, it's not even worth it because it was about boxing. This was about boxing, oddly enough, and it's about Tank because Tank has the fake belt at 140. I call it the fake belt, being funny because it's just not the champion's belt. This dude named Devin Haney there's 4 different belts. He has all 4 belts. And Tank has a belt that's like a subsidiary of one of the belts. So you're not the real champ. And so the dude said, I had said something. I said, yeah, because he has, Tank has a fake belt. Devin he's the real champ of that division. And Tank has a fake belt. He said, he called me a clown, said something, yeah, but Tank makes the most money or whatever. I said, this ain't about who makes money. It's about who's the champion of the division. Just like that. I ain't even say nothing, never said anything derogatory towards him or anything. I said, boxing ain't about who makes the most money. I said, it's about who's champion. I said, that's why people fight for the belts. And he was like, you clown, this and that, such and such. And I was like, all right, bet, let me go. Let me go in on him. And then God just stopped me like, is it really worth it?
Right.
What are you going to get out of
Because
this?
to him, it may be who makes the most money. We know that that's not the case.
So this is the thing for true sports fans. That's why I was like, for real boxing fans, I'm not cheering for somebody to fight to make money.
Right.
We're cheering for them to fight to win.
To win, yes.
We want
to get a belt.
Exactly.
Like literally.
You have the rights to say, I'm the best boxer in this division, and these belts prove it. Nobody says I'm the best boxer in this division because I make the most money.
Yeah,
what that tells me is you're a casual, you're a clown, you don't know nothing about boxing or sports, period. But I wasn't going to lean on him like that. Like I just realized, you stupid, man. You probably you get your ideas from elsewhere, from other people. You just tag along to what other people saying. And I was like, man, I'm not going to entertain this. I'm not going back and forth with this dude. He's a clown. I actually love the sport of boxing. Like I watch it. I mean, I don't study it to the point like a boxer would study it, but I look at it and I recognize things. I look at people's techniques, footwork, because I like the sport. I look at it like I look at football. And I'm not looking at football. And Emmitt Smith ain't my favorite, but LaDainian Thompson ain't my favorite running back because he made the most money. Pretty sure he's nowhere near the highest paid running back, but it doesn't make sense for me to say, oh yeah, he the best because he make the most money. That's just not the case, and you stupid for saying that. But I'm just not about to go back and forth with somebody. You want to attack me, you want to say these things, it's just not worth it. You just don't know how to argue. And I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody like that either. I told you, one of my involvements with a young lady where she got in her feelings and used my vulnerability against me. It was almost a vulnerability, and she called me weak. I knew at that point, this ain't gonna work. Never will, because she said it too easily now. She'll definitely try to use something against me in the future. So if we get argue, that's why I said argue. Get them mad soon. Go ahead, argue with them so you can see who they are. Because once I find out that you can't have this healthy conversation with me, that you gotta attack me, I don't think you somebody I want to be with. You're not supporting me at this point in time. You my affliction.
So how can you be? So what advice would you have for that type of situation? So I want to still be
Grow
with this
up.
woman who called me weak though.
Grow up. I wouldn't advise somebody to be in a relationship that's verbally abusive to them. Like, you love them. Sometimes I had to do it. You got to break your own heart sometimes. That's fine.
So what if that's not like a deal breaker for them though? Like that was a deal breaker for you, but like it's like somebody
So
might be
thing.
like,
don't ask me about. I can only give you from AJ's perspective. If you're gonna ask me about, if you asking me for advice, that means in my eyes, this is how I look at it. You're asking me what would AJ do. If you're asking me for advice, you're asking me what would AJ do. Now, if you come in, I'm always gonna tell you what's biblical. If you come to me for advice, I'm always going to tell you what's biblical and everything, right? I'm always going to come from. That's going to be my foundation for everything. But some things that are like very detailed or very specific, you just not going. It's nothing in the Bible to tell you about those things. But if you come to me like, man, she be verbally abusing me. Ain't nobody talking like this, but this is what you're saying. She's verbally abusing me, man. What you think I should do about this? Leave. But I love her. Leave. How can you make her stop? Can you make her stop being verbally abusive? It's a legit question. Do you think you can make her stop doing that? No, because it's something in her that has her doing that to her, that has her treating you that way, talking to you the way she talks to you. If you can't take it, why stay? I don't know what to tell you. That's black and white for me. If that's something that you can't take, why stay? Because you love her? That's not what love is.
Got you. So if one of the definitions of support is to sustain under trial or affliction, then wouldn't that be considered affliction?
Yep. But remember what you said, what I said? I said, grow up. If you're not there, you're not there. Like, that's what I'm saying about my past involvements. I wasn't there. I did not recognize until afterwards that they were responding to me or talking to me the way they was talking to me out of their hurt. So at the time that it was happening, I wasn't grown enough to understand, like, this is what's happening at this moment.
Yeah.
Let me endure. It was hurting me to the point where I cannot respond healthily. I cannot endure. I can't be what needed to sustain her. So I got to go. If that's you, then you got to go. I've seen some dudes, and I admire them, man. Some older dudes, like, your wife, I'm not saying this, I'm thinking this out loud. Your wife is sharp. Like, how do you and them dudes be so nonchalant? They so chill. They be so unbothered by them. Them dudes, I think it's some special guys out here like that where, you know, they built to endure that type of lashing from their women, and they women love them. They just understand, like, I'm unbothered by that. She's hurt. You know, this is what she go through. She'll be all right in about a week. Or she'll be all right in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I just don't have that. I don't have that in me.
And that's not, I mean, I think there's a, like we talk about, like, lanes. I think there's a lane for that too, right? Like, you just cannot be with a woman that is that way. But I do feel like, I think I can understand those men, you know what I'm saying? Because I realize too that, like, sometimes people are only saying things because, like you said, they are hurt. Like, there's something that's going on. But you said, they still love the hell out of their men. Would do anything, like go to the ends of the earth. But, like, when they are hurt, they say things that can be, you know, harmful.
Very.
But also, I feel like those men, I've heard things where it's like those men, it could be the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be like a ping pong effect. It doesn't make it okay either way. So I'm not condoning either sex doing that to the other person. What I'm saying though is that if you are, like, and just to bring it back to the topic at hand, if you are trying to sustain under trial or affliction, I think that the only way in which to do that, and that's the reason why I was asking you about, like, you know, if you had any of that advice in that lane, is not necessarily like if it's something that you've gone through, but I think that the thing is, you know, being able to see that a lot of times it's really not about you. Yeah. Like, you may be the one that the darts hit, but they weren't intended for you. And then sometimes
Some
those darts don't
even
even hurt
understanding
because it's
that.
not for me.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
but even understanding that sometimes just isn't enough for you to endure. So
Yeah, I
while you was
agree.
talking, the only thing I could think of is, and this is because I've seen this, like I've seen this, and it's happened to me. Like I've had brothers, encourage me through it and help me see things from a different perspective. And I think that was that was key for me. So when I'm going through it and I'm seeing things, I'm in my defensive mode. I'm seeing things how I'm seeing them, and I'm like, dog, I want to be done with this. And they like, well, AJ, think about this. I had solid brothers to turn to. They was like, man, AJ, think about this. What happened before this? Like how was she feeling? Did she ever say this to you before?
Yeah.
Boom, boom. They give you these things because I know what it's like to want to quit. Quit a relationship.
I think we all do, no?
Yeah, I know what it's like to be like, man, I don't even want this no more. But like I said, now I'm 35, about to be 36. I realize, I'm seeing what's happening. I'm realizing 9 times out of 10, people respond negatively just out of hurt. Like it's not many people out here that's just negative for no reason.
Right. Just felt like being black today.
It's never negative. I'm not. So
Black is my soul.
the reason that's something that AJ can't deal with because AJ doesn't do that. You're not going to make me mad and then I'm going to assassinate your character to you because I value our relationship. At some point in time, I do want to be able to come back. And remember I told you I mean everything I say. I might say it messed up, and I would apologize for hurting your feelings. But almost everything that come out of my mouth that I say, I mean it. That's why I won't say those things. Like, because I meant it. And I know that, man, it might not be no coming back from this. But I value our relationship enough to not say these things because I'm looking down the line. Yeah, we arguing now. Yeah, it might be tough right now, but I have hope for our relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say things that it may be, impossible for you to come back from. So when you say stuff like that to me, once you attack me and I'm supposed to be your partner, once you make me your enemy, there's no coming back from it. For me, I could forgive you, but we can't be in this, we can't be in this space again. It's going to be very hard for us to get back into the space because I look at you like, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Like, you will do this again. And I don't want to go through this again. Like, I look at everybody. So if you did this before, you're very capable of doing it again.
Yeah.
I don't care how much saved you are.
How much saved?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that was a little triggering for me because I feel like I've been in situations where it's like the person has said something to me where it's like, you really just cut me like at the stems. Like, you wanted me to literally start to rot and you supposed to love me. And it's like, how, but then what keeps me grounded a lot of the times is I think about, even when I didn't intend to say something that cut somebody at the stems, it could have been something very slight. You know what I mean? Something, a slip of the tongue. It could have could have been a time when I did mean malice. But I always think about the fact that, like, while I have some level of accountability for my words, it doesn't mean that the things that I've said learn how to conjugate your verbs, have not taken somebody completely out of the game. You know what I mean? Just by speaking something that wasn't loving.
Yeah.
So while it may not have seemed very deep for me, it could be something that somebody's thinking about right now that I said 20 years ago. So that kind of like grounds me when it comes down to those type of situations. I have to almost, like we said earlier, I kind of almost have to put myself in the other person's shoes and think about what it is that I would need in that situation if the shoes went on the other foot. That allows for me to kind of like keep that bridge built. But I do feel like
in a moment of adversity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I do feel like it takes work though. Yeah. And I feel like the only way you can even get to that point is if you're constantly like working on yourself. And I feel like you also have to have a regard for relationship and a regard for God. But first God, and then relationship, and then understanding that like we're not always going to get it right. Yeah. But if that person continues to do that, it's like it's only so much of this that you're going to be able to take.
Yeah.
It's just so much. I mean, and that's, I mean, whether we call it flesh, whether whatever we call it, you are only AJ, right? You can't be me, you can't be nobody else. And if AJ's limit is 4 times me tapping on your ear, then that's your limit. There's no reason why you should be having to apologize for that. You're not going to be with a woman who taps on your ear 5 times. I can do 4. If you've done 4, that's it.
See, this the thing. You know, I have an affinity for God in relationships. But even before I knew God, I was like that. I always, even with my homies, like I always watch my mouth with them, regardless how I'm feeling. Because I say what comes out my mouth, I mean it. And like I said, I don't want to get to a point where we can't come back. Because it's very, like, man, it's very hard for me. I know women are emotional, right? And that's why I try my best not to provoke them, especially if it's somebody that I'm involved with, somebody that I have any kind of relationship with. Like, I got bad experiences with females from young age, from all different dynamics, even having a woman supervisor. I'm gonna say female supervisor because I had no respect for her. Like, I had a female supervisor that fired me because I didn't bow down to her. I had a female HR lady that lied on me to my face, lied on me in front of the board to my face, and had me fired. I've had women that I was romantically involved with speak to me as if I was an enemy. So I do my best to not provoke that. So when you do that, that's what I say. I don't care how much Jesus you got in you. When you do that, you showing me that that's in you. But before Christ, I wasn't like that. So I need a woman that before Christ, she wouldn't do those things. So that I know now if she was considering that without knowing God, then I know that she's considering even more when she does know God. So that's why I said, if it's in you, it's in you. Like, ain't nobody white, fully clean right here living this earth. That's why Paul said, you know, the things I want to do, I don't do. The things I don't want to do, I do. He said, who's going to save me from this body? Meaning this corrupted flesh. Meaning as long as we're in this.
No, that was a part of my devotion this morning.
Yeah. So as long as you're in this, you're going to be subject to fault. That's why I said, if that's who you are, that's who you are. You can fight it. You know, you could be led by the Spirit, but nobody's led by the Spirit 100% of the time. No. So at the time when you're in your flesh, you're in your feelings, you're going to attack me, or you're going to say something hurtful to me intentionally, and then you're going to come back and try to say, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, all right, you sorry, but now what? There's consequences to your actions. This relationship is not the same.
Right.
And some of these things you just can't come back from. It's like cheating. The act is already done. You done already cut my heart. So how we move forward from this? How am I supposed to support you? How are you supposed to support me in this? Yeah. Your support. If you cut the legs off of this table and then you try to put it back, you might put a screw in it, put some tape on it. It might hold up for some time, but it's still compromised. So how can your support is compromised? You're a compromised piece of support now. So how can I fully trust you to hold me up in these times?
There's some marriages that have lasted for 60 years that are literally taped together. Like, they're on their last.
Grace of God.
Grace of God. That's the only thing I'm saying, like, could really get you through, you know what I'm saying, in a relationship. And I think that's what happens, right? Like, there are some people who are able to sweep things like that under the rug. Like, it's there.
Are you willing to take that risk?
To do what?
Like, to know that
person is capable of something. Yeah. And I mean, I've done it before, so it wouldn't be far-fetched for me.
Oh, well, I'm not.
Yeah.
So if I see it up front, I'm not petty to where every little thing bothers me. I just have those things that I know that AJ
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I'm just not willing. I mean, I know God could do whatever God want to do. But once we're over here now, we over here. That's it. Yeah. It's no going back to over there. You're still flesh, I'm still flesh. So if you're over here and I'm over here and we both are across this divided line, let's just stay like that. Because I think we can have a relationship both being on opposite sides of the line. We don't have to be on the same side of the line. We don't have to be in an intimate relationship. We can love God and love on each other just like this on opposite sides of the line, where I don't have to worry about you hurting me, you don't have to worry about me hurting you, and we both can honor God in that way. I rather that than for me to open everything back up for you and you to hurt me again. You're
And
flesh,
I feel
I'm
like,
flesh. Yeah.
and I feel like hurt is inevitable. I feel like you are going to experience hurt because of because of the depths that you will go with that person, especially your
I
one.
don't think so, man.
Okay.
I mean, some level of hurt is inevitable, but I'm talking about the cutting of the heart.
I just don't feel like you and I mean we can both exist at the same time, obviously. So it's not like there's a right or a wrong. I'm just saying, like, I just feel like that person who you allow that close to your heart does have, you know what I'm saying, very sharp thorns, and they can harm you. Like, you know, they try not to, you know, be it as they may. It could be something where they're starting to think about themselves or thought about themselves more than they thought about you in a situation. It could be something that they, you know, made a mistake in. I just think about that type of stuff. So when you say that, like, it doesn't seem, that's not something that I believe in, but it's not, I don't think it's necessarily wrong for you to have a standard. Like, you don't want, you know what I mean?
But that's why I say I look at how women treat people that they don't like. I look at how they treat people that they don't know, like how they treat strangers.
Yeah.
Because there's going to become a point in time where you're not going to like me. And so I already see how you treat those people. No, there's nobody here that's, I don't like this person, but I just treat them with all the love in the world. I know you're going to treat them in a negative way. What I'm looking at is to see if, can I deal with that? Are you recognizing that you're doing that? Can you deal with that? Are you looking in the mirror?
Yeah.
Like, if I could look on social media and you could tell who's been hurt by it. You could tell all the women that have been hurt by dudes. Because all they post is some negative stuff, or it's some stuff that's always promoting singleness, always promoting independent. I'm happy by myself. I don't need no man, this and that. Yeah, she been hurt. It's just evident. It'd be all over their pages and everything. I don't need somebody that's pushing those kind of like ideas all the time and everything. Like, you can see the women that are healing, that are wholesome, they taking care of themselves. That's who I pay attention to. That's why I don't go smack at women just because I think they look good. Like, I have to be in the area, I have to be in the atmosphere with you to see how you interact, see how you conduct yourself. That's why I said I always watch to see how they treat strangers. I always watch to see how they treat people that, you know, might irritate them. Somebody that's not really on their favorite list. And then I know, I was like, all right, you know, I watched her get her shoes off her own feet to somebody. Man, that's dope. She got hospitality. I just watched the waiter, this waitress chick, just sassed the mess out of her, and she did not respond with sass. She still tipped her. That's the type of stuff that attract me. I'm looking like, all right, I could deal with something like this. I like that. And then somebody really irritated her to the max. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna deal with that because I'm gonna say something that I don't want to say. I can respect that. And you know, and I'm all right, this is somebody that I could work with this. It's something I could work with. But if you just off the handle, reply witty, smart, cutting people, always want to fight, always want to get loud, I can't deal with that. You start attacking character, you start calling people names, I ain't about to deal with that. So, and I ain't really trying to support that. I can support you from, you know, maybe a friendship level. Maybe, but in a relationship, how can you? We talked about a lot about men. You ain't tell us about the women, how the men could support y'all. What's the affliction that y'all face with us?
So many things. I think
Just give me the top 17.
I think so. That's the reason why, like, to maintain by supplying with things necessary to existence, provide for. I think that's one of the things too, because of the fact that, like, we do need providers, and I think that it's hard for us to be able to receive that, because a lot of us haven't had that, like, sort of like father, you know, figure, or male in our lives to, like, really show us what that looks like. So a lot of times we're just kind of like, you know, grasping at straws. But I think that that provider piece, provide for, it doesn't necessarily always mean a coin. Sometimes you need to be provided a safe space. Sometimes you need to be provided security. No. Not sometimes. All the time. You need to be provided a safe space. You need to be provided security. You need to be provided the ability to be heard, valued. These are all things too, I feel like, you kind of have to come with as well. And I don't think that that's something that we always do. But I feel like when it comes down to support from a man, I think that a lot of us, where we miss it is that, or where, the affliction comes in is when, like, say, for instance, in those situations where I've been placed in a compromising position where there's somebody else who's reaching out to me to ask me about you, another woman. In this instance, if another woman is reaching out to me to ask me about you, whether something has happened or not, there's a level of protection that hasn't been provided, because she was even able to get to me. Like, how am I even now? Mind you, the internet is a thing too, right? Like, you obviously can look up anybody's name at this point, first and last.
Yeah.
You could be a stalker. You can da. But I still feel like as your man, or as somebody who you're dating, or whatever the case might be, there is still a level of protection that you can provide for a woman if you nip that thing in the bud. Now, I'm not looking for somebody to beat their chest and be like, hey, don't mess with my woman. No. But there is a way where you can, hey, this ain't what you want. Like, stop that, right? Like, you'll never hear from her again. Like, that's that. As far as like a safe space, I think I think that was one of the things that a lot of people just kind of like agree with me on. Is just like, we know that we are emotional people. We're emotional beings. It's not to say that men don't have emotions, but sometimes our emotions are what we have to deal with first in order to get to how we're going to solve this problem or issue. So another thing you can provide is just a safe space for me to be able to say what it is that I feel, right? And I know that y'all tune out. You know what I mean? I know that y'all don't hear all the words that we're using. I realize that because I am very realistic about me being a woman. I use more words. I know that a lot of men don't use a lot of words. But my point is, act like you looking, or act like you know what I mean? Like, you're still in the room. Attention. I do it all day. And so I know that you're capable of it, and you love me. That's the thing. You love me, or at least that's what you say. Yeah. So you can sit through me, rambling on about my boss for 30 minutes. You can do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then not even just doing that. Like, you can be listening actively or inactively. You could blank out, whatever the case might be. But after you're done, whatever pieces that you got from that, you could be like, so, how do you feel? Like, what's up? Like, anything that can be like a follow-up thing. It won't necessarily be detailed because, again, I know that you're not necessarily listening, but still providing a safe space. So you're not, but this is what I be trying to tell you, honey. You're loud. You nag. And it's just like, that may be true, but now I don't feel like this is a safe space because I'm just trying to tell you about what's happened to me. I want to get through my feelings. Yeah. After I've processed those things, then now you can tell me, now we can have a conversation about how you've been telling me this whole time that I am a nagger and that I'm whatever, because I'm not going to be able to receive it. Yeah. You even told me the same thing that Joaquin told you, is like, you have to work on your relationship and during a time where things are going well. Mm-hmm. It's not going well right now because I'm trying to get out to you.
You're trying to correct something.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Right. I'm mad about something. You're going to try to tell me like what's
about
like
myself.
Yes. Yeah. Like
you're trying to check me and I'm telling you I'm mad at something else.
Yes. Like, my sister, she still tells me about this to this day, but she was saying that my cousin, she was really upset. Like, it was when her father passed away. And she was really upset and she called my mom. And so she was like, auntie, like, I'm just so da-da-da-da-da. And she called her uncle by his first name. And my mother's trying to correct her on saying uncle, his name.
Worried about the wrong thing right now.
And my sister was so mad. My sister's like, Mom, like, that's not the point. She doesn't give a crap what his name is. His name could be Boo Boo the Fool right now. The point is that this is happening.
You missing what's the meat of this.
And it throws people off. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever done that? And it, like, you're literally
know.
talking to somebody about something that is important to you, and they just like, do you know how to conjugate your verbs? And it's like,
I told you, women do that. If I write a long drawn out paragraph, I can write a whole long drawn out text.
And we'll find that one sentence
that she disagree with or that she took offense to, even if you're not even talking about her, and, and respond to that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever, I don't know how many times I wrote this sentence. Is that what you got from what was just said? I'm talking about, I've probably written that sentence freaking hundreds of times. Like,
yeah.
Is that what you got from this post?
Yeah.
And just leave it at that.
And just left it at that. Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty much how we feel when it's like I'm pouring out my emotions and you like, but I told you that you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but that's what I think those are things.
No, I'm listening to you. And you remember what I was talking about? We have to help that person support us. We have to give them what they need to support us. So this is my question. This is my thing. Mm-hmm. Or my criticism or statement, whatever this is. Like I'm reading it when you were starting off talking about to maintain by. So was that supplying? Supporting?
Yes.
By supplying
with things necessary to existence.
Or provision to provide or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So my question is this, because in the day that we live in, women are adamant about showing us that they don't need us. Mm-hmm. You know, they're adamant about their mental health, about their financial wealth, their financial health, everything, showing that they can, you know, basically support themselves. Like, I'm sustaining out here. I'm getting it on my own. I'm happy by myself, this and that, and then turn around and say they want a man. How can I be that support to you when you're putting everything out there like you already got it together? How can I be your provision? You've been your own breadwinner for so long. How can I be the one to help guard your peace when you already putting out there, I already got my peace, I just don't need this, blah, 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 this and that, such and such. I'm like, I don't even want to hear that stuff. Like, don't tell me. Like, because you're basically telling me you don't need me. You want me. You definitely need me. You're saying this, your inner being wants to be with a man, is yearning to be in a relationship, but everything on the outside is kind of putting a wall up, pushing me away, saying this. So how can you help me support you in these things? Like, I believe we just need to, because it's to maintain by supplying, meaning something's coming from us and going towards you with things necessary to existence. Your whole existence now is already predicated off of what you did for yourself. And providing everything that you have, you provided for yourself. Your whole being was all about what you did to get to the point that you're at. And now you want to be involved with a man, or we're in a relationship. Where do I fit in at that? How can I even support you in these areas? Because that would, what I'm thinking, it's not necessarily what this would mean. What I'm thinking is you would have to fall back in an area for yourself, meaning you would have to trust me in the area to where you're saying, for instance, not saying this is going to be a situation, for the instance, saying whatever it was you was doing that allowed you to provide for yourself, say you got pregnant or something, you say, all right, I can't do this no more. Now you have to trust me, because you got women that won't get pregnant because of that. Mm-hmm. Like, no, because there's going to become a time where I'm not going to be able to work, and I don't want to have to, trust this guy to be this breadwinner, because I'm so used to providing for myself, or because I've been hurt by a guy before that I depended on. I don't want that. I don't want this to be the scenario. I don't want this to be the situation again. So you got some women that won't even get pregnant because of that. Like, It's a level of protecting themselves, which is something that I'm supposed to be doing. So how do you allow me? How do you support me to support you in this thing?
So, thank you for that question. I think that, it was so many things going on through my head with that. I think that, first of all, we should talk about how there are just some people in general who cannot be supported, right? And by that I just mean they don't want to receive it. Like they're just, it's like they have their hand out. While they might want it, they just don't know how to. So they're gonna push you away every time. And I feel like those, like, please, like, people, look at yourself and ask yourself, am I somebody who can be supported? That's something that you can just do as an individual. You don't have to be in a relationship to find that out. You can be in relationships, period, and realize like, oh, I'm the strong friend. Because I tell people all the time, the strong friend is not to me, that is not an achievement. That's not a goal, and it's not a compliment. You know what I mean? When you're the strong friend, you literally are that person who you provide support to everybody else, but you don't know how to receive it. So when somebody keeps calling you, and that's why I tell people all the time, they say check on the strong friend because nobody usually checks on them. Yeah. Well, the reason why nobody checks on you is because when they did, you turned them away. Yeah. Every time they called you and said, sis, you need something? No, I'm good. So you good. Because I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to keep asking you 2,000 times if you're good. Now, mind you, it does end up happening that way because some people are just going to do that. If your mother dies or your father dies or your sister dies or whoever, you're going to be like, how can I support you? How can I help? Da, 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 da. But you keep telling me you good, then I'm going to consider the fact that maybe you just don't want to be bothered. Even though I know that you're not good, you just don't want to be bothered. Like they say, some people are the worst patients. The worst patients. Like, they can help other people, but they do not know how to be helped. Sometimes they say that doctors are the worst patients, right? Because
they always helping. They always the ones that help.
Exactly. Yeah. So if I'm a first responder, if I'm somebody who I kind of like know how this thing works, then you're going to constantly be doing it wrong. And to me, I feel like that's something that we can apply to those women who are just not able to accept the help from a man. But here's what I'll also say. I've never been a man, right? So I don't know what it does to the ego to not be able to support somebody, because to me, I know how to then fill in those areas that a person does need support. Even when it comes down to my clients, for instance, there are some people who are going to tell me, no, I'm good. And I'll tell them, listen, I'm not that person who's going to offer you my help, and I have no intentions of following through. But I always go to God then, and I say, God, if there's a way in which I can be of service to this person, please show me, because it's really going to come from you, right? I know that that person may not be able to ask for it, but just show me the places. And he does it every time, right? But here's another thing that I remember, and I feel like you were the person who told me about this story, but you were saying that there was a professor. Do you remember that jar that the professor had to fill? First they put in golf balls, then they put in marbles.
Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like, I know that it didn't have anything to do with this, but to me, I feel like, and so basically the story was the professor was trying to show how this jar can be filled. So it was like the professor first put in a bunch of golf balls, and the golf balls filled up the jar. And it was like, do you think that this is full? And so some of this was like, yeah, it's full. So then he put in like marbles, and then he put in something smaller. And then the last thing that the professor put in was sand. To me, I feel like it's possible, like if you're really a supporting cast, if you're really a giver, if you're really a lover of God, then you know how to be sand, right? You know how to fill in when it's appropriate for you to fill in. Again, the reason why I preface that with I'm not a man is because I don't know what it feels like to not be able to be a provider, something that you were born to do, right? So as I go along through life, if I see a person who constantly just keeps pushing me away, because it happens, I don't feel personally attacked by that, right? I feel like there's a way that I can show that person that I can be supportive by filling in where they're not able to do it, because there's always a place where that person is thin. They are. And that's a woman, essentially. We do have thin spots. We may not be showing it to you right away, but that's kind of like where you kind of like ease yourself into the situation. You kind of have to become somebody that person can trust, in which we know that most of us, women and men, are not trusting off bucks, right? Because we've been hurt. We've dealt with some things, So I think that once you get past a level of trust, or you get to a place where that person can trust you, then you can learn how to be sand. But until then, though, I think it is kind of jarring to try to be with a woman who's constantly putting up what she can do and all this other stuff. I've been that woman. I can own that. I can take extreme accountability to the fact that it didn't impress me in my last relationship that he would come and bring my groceries in because I knew how to bring in my groceries. But that was something that he felt like that was something that he had to do, was bring in my groceries, was fix my light bulbs, was fix my toilet seat, da 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 da, if it's broken. But my thing was, I needed somebody, like my thin area was I needed somebody who could support me in a different way. Yeah. Support for me was I don't have to feel like I don't have somebody who's in my corner all the time. You know what I mean? Who feels like they can who doesn't feel personally attacked by me achieving my goals. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Somebody who I can come home to and I can complain about the day and they don't have to one up me about their day. Yeah. How their day was harder. Or oh, it's the same thing for me. Or you're tired. I'm tired too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the type of support that I needed. So I do feel like it's possible for a man to support a woman. I do feel like there has to be, there are levels, I do feel, that we have. So.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask that question. I was going to add that to your questions is how do you need to be supported? Like, do you even know how you need to be supported?
Yes.
Not even, well, you just said it. I'm talking about in general to these women that say, you want to be in a relationship, but you already have, you done brought the whole package of stuff for him to have.
Right.
Really you need to ask yourself, how do you need to be supported? And then you need to ask yourself again, how do you need to be supported? Meaning really assess your answer. Because if you come up with an answer that fast, I don't believe it.
Right. Agreed.
I believe that's just something you believe that sounds good. But really ask yourself, how do you need to be supported? Like if somebody came along and supported you that way, is that something that you would recognize, that you would appreciate, that you would say that, dang, this person really adds value to my life?
But first, are you a person who can be supported? Yeah. And then how can you be supported? Yeah. I think those are two really good questions that you can ask yourself. Even, before you even try to get on Tinder tonight, just ask yourself, like, am I a person that can be supported? And then how can someone support me? Because I feel like that's like I was listening. I forgot what I was listening to. Is it even
possible for them to support me?
Yeah. Some people aren't even asking themselves, why do I want to be a part of a relationship? Yeah. Or do I want to be married?
We already know that answer. I already told you that. We hit that. And what did you hear me say?
Yeah.
People get in relationships for selfish reasons.
Yeah. But some people ain't being real about that that part.
Because it's not something that you think of. But when you get into a relationship, it's, I like this person. This person makes me feel like this, or this person does this for me. It's not what you do for them. Yeah. It's always the selfish reasons that allowed you to engage into a relationship. People don't think about that, but once you hear this, you're going to be like, oh, damn, he right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But what we say is the selfishness that gets you into the relationship, but what's going to sustain a relationship is the selflessness.
Yep.
Because now it becomes about y'all, not about you. Like you have to start considering this person more, and even sometimes considering this person more than yourself.
Amen. I love it. Anything more to add to the dream?
Nah, we can cut.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. I appreciate you all for listening, and I definitely hope that this sparks conversation, yes. Even, some journaling tonight. Like, just ask yourself those questions and just ask God, like, how can you be a person? Because I always stress this too, and this is the last thing I'm going to hit. A lot of us want to be the one who constantly gives. But we don't understand the ministry and receiving as well. There is something very powerful about being able to be the one that's being helped. Even Jesus, right, allowed people to wash his feet. He was served and things like that. Obviously, I mean, he's the Son of God. Like, who's gonna? What is it possible that I can do that God can already just give you or make happen? But it's like God is working through us, right? And so our thing is, just learn how to be able to receive just as you give, because that's what life is all about. If you're just the giver, then honestly, what you're doing is you're being controlling, because what you're doing is you're not allowing somebody else to get their blessing. You're not allowing the other people to be able to receive, in the gifts that God has given them. So
I want to add to that because you just reminded me about that strong friend thing, because both scenarios, the strong friend scenario and what you just said about always being the one giving, it could be your network too. And so that strong friend thing, it can't always be. Well, I'm saying it might not always be that you don't have. Well, how did you say it? It's not that you're rejecting the help. It's you might not have people in your network, like your friends, the people that you commune with, associate with, they just might not be capable of being of assistance to you. Like I share the story all the time. I remember this was years ago. We was in front of my man building on the steps, and they called me Mini-Me. And I don't even know how we got to talking about this, but we was just talking about how we was helping each other or something. I can't remember. But I was like, man, y'all niggas don't. I said, don't nobody look out for me. I said, y'all niggas don't do nothing for me. I wasn't saying it in a spiteful way or whatever, but I was just like kind of checking what was said. And then my man said, that's because don't nobody know how to look out for you. He's like, you the one always had a car. You the one always had a job. This and that. That's what I'm saying. Like my network dictated that I was the one that was always up. So when I hear that strong friend analogy, the reason people don't run to help the strong friend is because you the one that's always on top. You always a strong friend. Like
but that I don't. Go ahead.
Like when you're in the gym, you don't go. You want the strong guy to be the one that spots you. If you don't have stronger people in your network, like people, I never really had somebody to look out for me until I met Joaquin, because Joaquin was already more mature. He was already more up. He was already more disciplined. It was things that I could gain from him in every aspect. I didn't have that in my life before him. I didn't have men like that in my life before. Everybody depended on me. Like what you would do to look out for me, I didn't need. So it's not that I'm not receiving it. It's just that I don't need it. Like you need whatever it is that you're trying to give me. I already have it. You need it more than I do. I do appreciate this, and I'm not receiving it out of pride or anything, but I'm receiving it out of looking out for you too. Like, look, I'm good. Like, give it to somebody else. Look out for somebody else. Until I started meeting people that was just up more than me in different areas of life, and then I was able to receive, and I just didn't have that beforehand. Like me. Go ahead.
But I'm glad that you said that, because think about that when it applies to women, Ben.
What?
Like, you're offering me these things, right? You want to bring my groceries in. I can bring in a grocery.
No, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like, up it. Like, be better, be more, do more. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
levels to this.
Exactly.
I agree
so
with
you keep offering me these things that I just like, thank you, but I just cannot use those things. And I'm not like, I think a lot of women are just at that point now. And I know that men are not impressed by this at all. Like, you know, the degrees and all this other stuff. I understand that. But if what you're offering me is something that I just cannot use, then yes, I'm not going to, like you're saying that, right? So obviously this is something that I know a lot of women are applying, but that's not something that I believe. I believe everybody has something to offer. And I believe that if your friends couldn't fill in the money or the intelligence or the da-da-da, then it could be like something smaller too. You know, like I said, it's the thin spots. And the thin spots don't have to mean that I'm more intelligent than you. It doesn't have to mean that I have more money or have more discipline. Sometimes a thin spot is you just like, you don't have time to go run and go grab a burger before you run to football practice. Joe, I'm gonna go grab you the burger. You know what I'm saying? I know what kind of burger you like. You've been my friend for 30 years. I'm not gonna like get you pickles on your burger. You don't like pickles. It's stuff like that. It's buying you a piece of sweet potato cake. Yeah, you probably don't need it because maybe you're fasting. But I thought about the fact that you probably gonna want that. But do you get what I'm saying? It's the thin spots. It's just, it's not saying that that you're necessarily like in huge need of it or anything like that. But I'm being supportive. That's it. Yeah. And I don't think that supportive is always, you completely being that pillar, because not only do you have the pillar, but you've got those like beams that's in the roof too. They're small. They're not as big as this column, but they're still providing support.
I think significance does matter though, because when you're involved with somebody with closeness, like it matters that the person that you're this close with, that you're in an actual romantic relationship with, is this small being. But this person that you're not in a romantic relationship with, that happens to be the opposite sex, is like the load bearing walls and everything, that's an issue.
Agreed.
So that I think the significance of the help does, I believe it does matter. But and it could cause like woes in your relationship because I mean a woman will see like you're being way more supported by this woman that you say is your friend than I am. That could like birth some insecurities or something, or it could birth some trust issues. Like what's really going on?
Yeah,
what's
we
really
should talk
going
about
on?
that in a different episode.
We could.
Yeah, because I feel like that could bring us down a different rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get it.
I was gonna
Like,
say something else too that's gonna be real controversial for the world.
Okay.
I don't know if believers have a choice or not, whether they gonna believe it or not. When we're talking about the supporting for the women also, when you're talking about the providing, the provision, everything that they've accomplished in life and everything, there's nothing in the scripture for believers in Christ and the God of the Bible. There's nothing in scripture about the man being the support for the women. What we're supposed to do as kings, as leaders, as priests, as prophets, as protectors, as providers, are perform those ministries. Be a priest over our home, be a protector over our home. When I'm saying I'm home, I'm talking about the wife and children. Be a priest over our home, be a protector over our home, be a prophet over our home. We're supposed to do those things. That's our support to you. When it comes to all these little intricacies and everything, like God told the man, this is what you do. And he said, I'm going to make you a helpmeet to do these things. Like she is supposed to come alongside to support you, to help. Y'all support looks different. Your support is doing everything to make sure this home is a home. It's sustainable, honors God. Her support is being able to come alongside of you and fulfilling y'all mission in God. Whatever it is, your purpose here, she's supposed to come alongside and help you fulfill that thing, support you in whatever ways necessary, plus the household. And I think just today, because of how we live, everybody has their own accomplishments. Everybody has their own milestones and everything. Like you say about feelings, how we we value our own feelings higher than others. I believe it's the same thing when it comes to stuff like supplying. What that say again?
With things necessary
Supplying
to exist.
things necessary to exist. Like if you do that yourself, you're going to value the way you provide for yourself higher than the way that I can provide for you. And I just believe that it's off because we just strayed so far from what the scriptures initiated.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yep. Well, good stuff.
yeah. All right.
Good.
Bye.
Thank you for my support. Just playing. We love you guys, and at the end of the day, we want you. Hey, he's so forceful, this guy. Anyway, we want you guys to make it work.
Yes.
We
please.
love you.
Hey.
Peace.
Oh, and one more thing. Make it work. Bye.